Hello one and all, my name is Rio and welcome to another matchday preview. Tomorrow Chester FC make the venture to Hertfordshire as we play Royston Town away in the Buildbase FA Trophy second round, where we look to record our fourth consecutive win of 2020. So tomorrow's game is going to be a banana skin, but we have already beaten Hertford Town and Brackley Town so far in the FA Trophy, so hopefully we can go one step closer to Wembley tomorrow. So as I say, Royston have already beaten higher sides such as Wealdstone and Boreham Wood, so it is going to be a potential banana skin tomorrow. So we do need to play our strongest possible 11 to avoid a massive upset. So of course I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, please like, subscribe and comment down your thoughts of the game below. So let's get into today's video right now. Enjoy. In general, I cannot wait for tomorrow's game because it has been so long since we last had the Southern away day, so I can't wait for it now because you can't beat a Southern away day, and this is a new ground to visit to, so looking forward to my first visit to Garden Walk. Also, we should have a decent chance of progressing, because in recent weeks we have played some really good football against the likes of Southport and Guiseley the other day, so we have picked up some fantastic results lately. And defensively we have been really solid at the back as well, so hopefully we can put on another good performance tomorrow, because we cannot afford to be going to Royston and thinking it's going to be a walk in the park, because it isn't. Royston have a decent history in the FA Trophy this season, so both mentally we do need to switch on tomorrow, and of course psychologically, because these type of matches where we think we're going to win 4 or 5-0 can easily turn the other way, because Royston will have their tails up. So it is going to be a tough game, but if we do go through tomorrow, then we will go through to the last 16 of the FA Trophy, and from that stage onwards the actual competition as a whole starts to get a lot more important. So we do have a decent chance this season. We have beaten Brackley away, who are one of the best sides in our league, and Hertford, who play league below us in the same league as Royston, and Hertford are doing really well this season. They are just outside the playoffs as we speak, so we have beaten two good sides already, so there's no reason why we cannot beat Royston, but we do need to play our strongest possible team to give us the best chance of going through to the third round of the FA Trophy. So our last match was on Tuesday night as we beat Stockport Town 1-0 at home in the Cheshire Senior Cup second round. So I thought it was quite a mediocre game of football. There were barely any chances in the entire game, but I just think we just about did enough to go through, because fair play to Stockport, despite them playing 4 leagues below us, they did give us a tough game because they were quite a well organised team. So fair play to Stockport, but I just think although we did make things hard for us at times, we did okay to go through. So it was a solid performance, it was an average performance. So the first half was okay, it wasn't really the best half of football. I thought it was quite an even half, because once again I thought Stockport were quite a good side. They were breaking up the play really well, and they did stretch us out quite well. So fair play to Stockport. So the first chance of the game went to Stockport Town after about 10 minutes of the game, and Yusuf Abdullah scored a disallowed goal for Stockport. So thankfully for us, the linesman already put his flag up for offside, but still it was something to think about. So we did have a few chances before half time, because a header by Danny Elliott went wide, and a chance by Alton Luguatana forced a decent save out of Josh Olorenshaw. But other than that, the first half was quite an average affair. Meanwhile, the second half was quite similar really, because again there were barely any chances for either side. However, we delivered when it really matters, because 10 minutes into the second half, Danny Elliott made it 1-0 to us, so it was a decent goal. He did well to hold off a few Stockport defenders, and he fired into the back of the net to make it 1-0. So it did take a bit of a deflection, but still it didn't really matter for us because it was an important goal in the game. However, Stockport still tried to get the equalising goal, and it was substitute Rourke O'Neill who went ever so close to making it 1-1, as he actually hit the crossbar for Stockport Town, so ever so close to making it 1-1. But thankfully, we did really well defensively to see the game out, and once again, we got our third consecutive clean sheet to continue our fantastic start to 2020. So hopefully more of the same tomorrow, although it will be a tougher game of course. It will take about 6 hours to get to Royston tomorrow, so it is going to be a long coach journey, but hopefully it will be well worth it. So Royston Town play at Garden Walk. It holds 5,000, so hopefully it will be a walk in the park for us tomorrow. So of course, I have never been to Royston before, so as you all may know, it is our first ever match against them, so looking forward to my first ever visit to the Garden Walk Stadium, so cannot wait for it now. So on one side there's a covered seater stand which goes for about half of the pitch. You have got a few supporting pillars which may affect your view, and also the actual stand itself does straddle the halfway line. And in front of the stand you have got 4 floodlight pylons which again may affect your view. To the left hand side of the stand towards the Brian Rachel stand, you have got an open flat standing area, and once again to the right hand side you have got yet another open flat standing area too. However, one quite obscure thing about Royston is that I do believe towards the back of the stand you have got a car park there, so usually you would expect the car park to be near the main entrance, but it is actually behind the stand, I am led to believe, so looking forward to seeing if that is true or not tomorrow. Opposite the main stand is a covered terrace, so you have got 2 covered terraces actually. So the first one is a small one, and that goes towards the Brian Rachel stand, so it is quite a small terrace. Meanwhile, the larger terrace goes towards the open flat standing area, and you have got a few supporting pillars which may affect your view. Both of these terraces are separated by an open flat standing area once again, and you have got 4 floodlight pylons in front of the stand again. Meanwhile, behind one goal is the Brian Rachel stand, which is a covered seater stand, and that is situated right behind the goal, so it goes for about 1/3 of the pitch. Meanwhile, the other 2/3 of the pitch consists of 2 open flat standing areas. So the first one is to the left hand side, and the other open flat standing area is towards the right hand side too. Finally, behind the other goal is a open flat standing area. Once again, you have got a covered, you have got a clubhouse behind it as well. So tomorrow's match is going to be unsegregated, which means that we will have the entire freedom of the entire stadium. Royston Town plied their trade in the Bet-Victor Southern Premier League Central, which is just 1 league below us, and coincidentally, Hensford Town, who we did dump out in the last round of the FA Trophy, actually play in the same league as Royston, so it is going to be no easy game. Furthermore, Royston sit 3rd in their league table and have only lost 1 match at home all season, and that was against league leaders Tamworth, so it goes to show how well Royston are doing this season. And the Crows actually have 2 games in hand, so if they win those 2 games then they could reach the summit, and if they keep on their momentum then Royston actually could be playing National League South football next season, so they are a club on the up. Also, Royston have dumped out the likes of Wealdstone and Bournemouth already in the FA Cup this season, and both of those teams play 1 league and 2 leagues above Royston respectively, so it goes to show that they have got some good players there, and Royston will raise their game against us tomorrow. So as they're all saying on the social media that it's going to be one of their biggest matches in their entire history, so they're going to be up for it, and we do need to play like it is a normal match, because if we do downplay Royston then we are going to be in for a long afternoon, so we do need to treat it like a normal game, and hopefully we can progress, because as I say, Royston, they have got a good squad of players there, and they are flying high this season, so we mustn't underestimate them. Our last match was, of course, on Tuesday night, as we beat Stockport Town 1-0 at home in the Cheshire Senior Cup second round. So hopefully we can get our second consecutive cup win of the week tomorrow. So it was quite an average game of football. I think we just about deserved the win because we were comfortable enough, but fair play to Stockport. They made us run for our money and they gave us a decent game. So Stockport can be pleased with their efforts considering they play 4 leagues below us. So we do need to turn up tomorrow, unlike on Tuesday where we didn't really have to get into second gear. So it is vital that we do turn up tomorrow afternoon at Royston. So the first half was quite a mediocre, average affair because there weren't really any chances in the entire half. But in 10 minutes in, Stockport Town nearly made it 1-0 as Yusuf Abdullah scored a disallowed goal for them. So thankfully for us, fortunately, the linesman already put his flag up for offside. So it wasn't a bad finish by Yusuf Abdullah, but thankfully it was ruled out, which was a bit of a lifeline for us. Meanwhile, the second half wasn't much better. Again, there were barely any goal-mouth chances. However, 10 minutes in, Danny Elliott made it 1-0 to us to get the decisive goal of the game because it was a nice, clever goal by him. He ran past a few Stockport defenders. He housed the ball up really well, and his shots took a wicked deflection into the top left-hand corner to make it 1-0 to us. So a great start to the second half. Meanwhile, Stockport were still going for the equalising goal, and substitute Rourke O'Neill actually hits the crossbar for Stockport Town with about 15 minutes to go. So nearly 1-0. So it's a great chance for Stockport to well and truly gets back in the game, but thankfully it wasn't to be. So it wasn't a great performance by us. So hopefully we can improve tomorrow afternoon. So the solitary goal of the game by Danny Elliott will be coming up right now. Enjoy. Here is Royston Town's latest form, which is excellent as they have won 5 of their last 5 games. So their form is perfect going into tomorrow's game, but hopefully we can burst their bubble. So Royston's first match was back on Saturday the 14th of December in the Buildbase FA Trophy second round as they beat Boreham Wood 2-0 at home to cause a major upset. Meanwhile, a few weeks later on Boxing Day, Royston got the Hertfordshire bragging rights as they beat local side Kings Langley 1-0 away in the local derby. A few days later on New Year's Day, so back on January the 1st on a Wednesday, Royston beat Lowestoft Town 5-1 at home in what was an emphatic result for them. Meanwhile, the Crows were back in action last Saturday as they beat Avon Church 1-0 away to get their second win of the new year. And finally, on Tuesday night, Royston were back at Garden Walk as they beat Redditch Town 2-1 at home. So they are coming into tomorrow's game on the back of a rich vein of form, but hopefully we can bring their 5-match winning streak to an end. Meanwhile, here is our latest form, which isn't too shabby either, as we have won 4 out of our last 5 games. So going on both sides' latest form, hopefully tomorrow's game will be an absolute cracker if both sides keep on going tomorrow. So our first match was back on Boxing Day as we beat Southport 3-1 away. Meanwhile, a few days later on the following Saturday, we fell back down to earth as Curzon Ashton beat us 1-0 at home in what was a disappointing result at the 1885 Arena. However, on New Year's Day, we got back to winning ways with a bang as we hammered Southport 4-0 at home to start off the decade in the best possible way. Our good run of form kept on going last Saturday as we beat Guiseley 1-0 away, and finally on Tuesday night in the Cheshire Senior Cup second round we got a 4th win in 5 as we beat Stockport Town 1-0 at home. So let's hope that we can get our 4th consecutive win tomorrow and burst Royston's bubble in the process. Royston Town's key player for me for tomorrow is Brandon Adams, who is a striker. So, back in 2015, Brandon started off his career at Queen's Park Rangers, whilst in West London he had loan spells at Perlis FA and Linfield in Northern Ireland. Back in 2018 though, Brandon left QPR on a permanent deal to sign for Enfield Town. However, later on that season, he left Enfield to sign for Ware. However, during the summer of last year, so back in 2019, so a few months ago, Brandon left Ware to sign for tomorrow's opponents, Royston Town. So already this season, Brandon has scored a few goals for Royston, so he will be a key player to look out for tomorrow. So hopefully, our defence will keep him quiet. My score prediction for tomorrow's game is Royston Town 1, Chester FC 2, so sadly for Royston. I think Brandon Adams will score for them. However, I think we'll get a goal more than Royston will, because for the Blues, I think Anthony Dudley and Gary Stopforth will score for us. So I think it will be a typical scrappy, tight cup game because the pitch will be a leveller. It looks quite slopey and bumpy, so it will be a difficult surface to play on. So we do need to play our strongest team possible to get the best possible result, and hopefully we can avoid a replay at the 1885 Arena on Tuesday night. Dancing in the sand. Of course, I will be going to Royston tomorrow, so look out for my matchday vlog, which will be uploaded after the game. So, of course, I do hope you enjoyed today's matchday preview. If so, please like, subscribe, and comment down your score predictions below. So, cannot wait for the game now. Should be a cracking cup tie, and hopefully we can go through to the last 16. So, cannot wait now. It should be a fantastic day out. I'm leaving at 8:30 in the morning, so it is going to be a long day, but hopefully it will be well worth it. So, buzzing for it now. Come on, City! Now she's in